My name is Brad Dollar. I'm a producer and engineer here in San Francisco, and today I'm going to show you how to get the most out of your Pro Tools session setups. There's a few easy things that are kind of buried that can make your Pro Tools experience sound a lot better and work a lot more efficiently for you. So let's take a look. Okay, the first thing I want to show you is this great feature that Pro Tools added in version 9 called pan depth. Basically, the goal of this is to create the same feel and width of mixing on an analog desk, and Avid achieves that by setting the center down point of the stereo field to be one of 4 values. So what you want to do is go up to Setup and click on Session. You can also get here by hitting Command 2 on the numeric keypad or Control 2 on PC. So let's open that up. So there's a lot here that you may have looked at, and maybe you've never seen this window, but get used to looking at it. It's very important. Right here is where you're going to adjust the pan depth. Pro Tools defaults to -3 dB for the center down point, which means that the center of your mix is 3 dB quieter than the left and the right. You also have the option of -2.5, as well as -4.5 and -6 dB. As the center gets quieter, the sides get wider. You lose impact in the middle, but you get some more width. I found that -4.5 dB seems to sound really great and really helps to add some more width to your mixes. You can mess around with going to -6 dB, but you'll notice that it gets maybe too wide and you lose that vocal, you lose that kick that you have worked so hard to make sound great. So that's pan depth. If you start off -4.5 when you start mixing, you'll have great results by the end. Try it out. The next thing I want to show you is a feature in Pro Tools Preferences called Auto Crossfade. And basically what it does is creates a little fade at the end of each region when you're editing to eliminate all those clicks and pops instead of manually doing that. So if you go to your preferences, you can see we're in operation. You can also hop around in this menu by hitting Command 1 through 7 for all the different tabs. So we'll go to Command 2 for operation. And right down here, you'll see in the bottom right, is the ability to adjust the region fade in and out. I usually leave it at 2 milliseconds. I feel like it does a great job of catching all those ends that are popping and doesn't sound too intrusive. It also doesn't stop you from doing crossfades yourself. So it's just a great thing to make editing lots of stuff like drums or vocals a lot easier for you. Here, I'll show you a little bit right here. If we zoom in, you can't really see anything. There's no fade that's been created, but it's there and it won't pop when this region exits. And of course, you can still draw on a fade if you want. The next thing I want to show you, probably the most complicated thing I want to show you, is one of the best tricks to make the mixes that you do inside of Pro Tools really translate when you pick them out to your car or to your iPod. You've probably been going up here to File and doing Bounce to Disk and making your mixes that way, and that's totally fine. It sounds okay. But when you're bouncing to disk with Pro Tools, you're taking your mix to a whole different engine, and if you're low on DSP, Pro Tools just starts shoving off information, reverb tails get strained, it starts to sound kind of like an MP3. So another way to do it is to treat Pro Tools just like a console. So we're going to create an audio track that we can use as our channel, a monitor track that we will listen to, a master fader just like you have on a console to adjust the overall volume and to insert compressors or EQs on, and then a print track, which is your 2-track that we will print our mix to. When Pro Tools opens a new track, it should default to some sort of bus. For me, I have it set up to go to my internal layback bus, but for you, it might just end up going to your main outputs to your speakers. So that's the first thing we want to change. We want to assign each track that is part of the mix to a mix bus, just like you would on a console. You're also going to want to set up this monitor bus, and it's basically just a control of the output to your speakers. The way you do this is you create an aux track, you select the input of the track to be the mix bus, and the output is your speakers. You also want to make sure that you solo isolate this track so that when you solo things in your mix, you can actually hear them. And you do that by command clicking solo. I'm also going to come down here to my master fader and make it the master over mix 1. And here you can add compressors or equalizers or any kind of outboard type processing in the box. Finally, you're going to want to come down here to this print track we've set up, which is just a stereo audio track, and it pretty much sets up just like the monitor bus. You have the input from the mix track and your output goes to your speakers, but the only thing is you don't want to listen to it. If you listen to this and your monitor fader at the same time, you're going to hear phasing. So we'll just mute that and then record and enable it so that we can print our mix when we're ready to do so. Finally, we want to export this guy so we can listen to it outside of Pro Tools. So all we're going to do is hit Command-Shift-K or Control-Shift-K if you're on a PC, and this dialog will pop up, and you can choose different files to export it as, .wav, MP3, AIFF. You can also select if you want it to be mono or interleaved, the bit depth, and the sample rate, and also very important, where you're going to save it. Thanks a lot for watching. You can check me out at braddollar.com, or you can email me at bradkdollar@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you and to know what you think. Take care.